Hi, this is Shannon McNeese and Melissa Tom talking about some of the great books available at the online book fair. Before we start, the only thing we want to remind people is that the quantities vary and the prices may change a little, but they will still be amazing. So here's Melissa talking about a great pick from the book fair.
So one of the books that you can purchase through the book fair is a box set of To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. She's a really popular author and her books are checked out from our libraries all the time. So what if your crushes you've had found out how you felt about them all at once? Lara Jean Song keeps her love letters in a box under her bed that her mother gave her. They aren't love letters that anyone else wrote for her. These are ones that she's written. One for every boy she's ever loved, 5 in all. When she writes, she pours out her heart and soul and says all the things she would never say in real life because her letters are for her eyes only, until somebody finds them and thinks that they need to be mailed and mails them without her knowing. So this is the fallout, the first book, about how that all goes down. And the box set includes all 3 from the trilogy, so highly recommend.
Okay, One of Us is Next is available in hardcover for $6. This is the sequel to the very popular One of Us is Lying. And so if your child maybe read that last year, this would be a great pick. And One of Us is Next starts out very much the same way. A ton of copycat gossip apps have popped up since Simon died. But the years since Bayview 4 were cleared of all of his shocking death, no one's been able to fill the gossip void quite like he could. The problem is no one has the facts until now. This time it's not an app, though. It's a game. Mm-hmm. It's a game of truth or dare. And truths will come out, and dares will be made. And what will happen next? One of Us next.
Sounds so good. The next recommendation that we have is a box set also. It includes 4 books. It is by Jason Reynolds, and it is the Track series. So Ghost is that first book, and it was a Nutmeg nominee last year for the middle school list. Each book has a different perspective. So there are 4 characters that are discussed, and each book is focused on one of those characters. Really good realistic fiction with track as a sport as a backdrop. So highly recommend that series.
All right, and what could be better for an October read than Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? This is also a box set for $7.83. You can get all 3 of the books. They are classic, illustrated, scary stories. Your kids probably know them from school libraries, and they are perfect for October.
And the next recommendation is Keeper of the Lost Cities, Book 1 by Shannon Messenger, and you can get a paperback copy for $3.11. This is one of the most popular series that is available at the Bristol Library for fans of Harry Potter and kids who explore their magical powers and figure out how to use them for powers of good, even though evil is trying to work their way in. I highly recommend this fantasy series. And their book 8 is coming out in November. So if you haven't started the series yet, it's a perfect time to get into Keeper of the Lost Cities.
Witch Tree. So Witch Tree is available in hardcover for $6.47. This is an amazing book. I'm going to read the blurb so I make sure I get it exactly right. Trees can't tell jokes, but they certainly can tell stories. Red is an oak tree who is many rings old. Red is the neighborhood wish tree. People write their wishes on pieces of cloth and then tie them to Red's branches. Along with a crow named Bongo and other animals who seek refuge in Red's hollows, this wish tree watches over the neighborhood. You might say Red has seen it all, until a new family moves in, and not everyone in the neighborhood is welcoming. Red's experience as a wish tree is more important than ever. So this is Catherine Applegate. If you're a fan of The One and Only Ivan, this book is an absolutely wonderful read.
And next we have a really great historical fiction selection. It is The Night Diary by Veera Hiranandani. And we at Bristow had the opportunity to meet her in real life a couple of springs ago, and she talked about this book. It is about the 1947 partition between India and Pakistan. And it's from the point of view of a 12-year-old girl who has a twin, and their family is a mixed family in the sense that one of her parents was Hindu and one of her parents was Muslim, and when the country was made to decide one or the other, because that's how the split was made, she and her family is affected, and it's their journey across the desert basically to go from one side to the other. So really good historical fiction, and it won the Newbery Award, which is a very great honor for children's literature.
Okay, and there are lots of great sports books available too. It's a little tricky to find them if you do tween fiction, and then there's additional menu on the side for sports. You'll find books by Tim Green and John Feinstein and even Mike Lupica. So this is batting order. Matt Baker, it's one of his newer ones. Matt Baker is small and shy, and his stutter has him avoiding the spotlight, even if it's the best all-arounder on the team, or if he's the best all-arounder. But while Matt knows he's got the chops, a part of him has always envied Big Ben and his attention-grabbing charm. So it's a total shock when Ben asks him to help him work on his swing, because Ben can't put the bat into play, and his showboating comes at the expense of the team. And even though Matt's trying to help, Ben doesn't seem to take him seriously, especially when it means toning things down. The end of the season is fast approaching. Is there enough time for Ben to realize that bigger isn't always better? For Matt to understand that sometimes being the bigger person means standing up for yourself? Or will they have to accept defeat? It's batting order by Mike Lupica.
And one of the available Nutmeg nominees from the online book fair is Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. And again, for those fans that love creepy books or the scary stories, this is probably a book right up your alley. It says, after suffering a tragic loss, 11-year-old Ollie, who only finds solace in books, discovers a chilling ghost story about a girl named Beth, the two brothers who loved her, and a peculiar deal made with the smiling man, a sinister specter who grants your most tightly held wish, but only for the ultimate price. Captivated by the tale, Ollie begins to wonder if the smiling man might be real when she stumbles upon the graves of the very people she's been reading about on a school trip to a nearby farm. Then later, when her school bus breaks down on the ride home, the strange bus driver tells Ollie and her classmates, best get moving. At nightfall, they'll come for the rest of you. So definitely for fans of suspense and scary.
Yes, very, very much makes the hair on your arm stand up. It's so scary. This is another Nutmeg nominee this year. It's The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora. It's summertime, and for Arturo, summertime in Miami means playing basketball until dark, sipping mango smoothies, and keeping cool under banyan trees. And maybe a few shifts as a junior lunchtime dishwasher at his abuela's restaurant. Maybe, but this summer also includes Carmen, a poetry enthusiast who moves into his complex, and he almost doesn't notice as a smarmy land developer rolls into town and threatens to take over his grandmother's lease on her restaurant. So he is going to put up a fight, and he will either succeed or he will be an epic failure. Read Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora to find out.
And for anybody out there who's a graphic novel fan, The Cardboard Kingdom by Chad Sell is definitely something to add to your carts. This is a story about a group of neighborhood kids who transform ordinary boxes into colorful costumes and their ordinary block into a cardboard kingdom. This is a summer when 16 kids encounter knights and rogues, robots and monsters, and their own inner demons on one last quest before school starts again. So definitely graphic novel fans and people who have really big imaginations.
All right, and our final book that we're sharing right now today, we might do another one of these videos because there's so many good books, but this is Belly Up by Stuart Gibbs. Stuart Gibbs is really well known by the kids for his Spy School series and Space Case series, and this is a book from his mystery series, Fun Jungle, and this one is Belly Up. 12-year-old Theodore Teddy Roosevelt Fitzroy has murder on his hands and trouble on his tail. He believes that Henry, the hippopotamus at the brand new Fun Jungle, has been murdered. The zoo's top brass claim the hippo went belly up natural way, but Teddy and his feisty friend Summer McCracken have other ideas. Could the culprit be Fun Jungle's animal-hating head of operations, or is it Fun Jungle's owner, Summer's dad, a man who is much more concerned about money than animal welfare? The deeper Teddy and Summer dig, the more danger they're in, because when it comes to hippo homicide, the truth can't be caged. And this is the first book in the series.
I loved that series. It was so good. And so those are our recommendations right now. There are so many more titles that you can find on the website. So find the link. We will be sharing that out in various places. For Bristow and Sedgwick. And if you are looking for something specific, try both the title. And if it doesn't show up, definitely try the author. And you might find things that you didn't even know you were looking for. So happy shopping.